Welcome back to the podcast. It's Virginia, and today we're talking about The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 12. The show starts with the girls being hosted by Angie at her house with Aunt Rita and, of course, her dad, Louie. And the girls are there to learn, basic Greek phrases in preparation for their trip to Greece. Then we start to see flashes of each of the different girls as they're getting ready and packing for Greece. And we first and foremost see that Lisa is clearly obsessed with Gucci. She's telling John that she had about 60 cases yet to open. Okay. Then they flash to Todd and Bronwyn, and Bronwyn assures Todd that everything will be fine because Angie speaks Greek. Todd warns Bronwyn and reminds her, well, just because she speaks Greek doesn't mean she'll get you out of trouble or that she ain't talking smack. And it reminds me of something that I learned a few years back. You know how when something happens, or if you have someone who's asking, is there anything I can do for you? And you'll just very flippantly, without even thinking about it, tell them, yeah, just pray for me. Well, you got to be careful who you ask to pray for you, man. Not everybody has your best interests in mind. And what if they're praying that you get hit by a bus? So you got to be careful who you hand your power over to. I'm sort of joking, but then again, not really. Let's just move right on along. To the airport they head, and did we know that Heather Gay had such a crush on Harry Hamlin? Watch out, Lisa Rinna. Heather's ready to come for your man. Mary's excited. She says, Greece is serene. While Lisa says she's glad that they're finally going to Greece because that will hopefully be the last time she has to hear from Angie about Greece and all things Greece, because let's just face it, she's all Greeked out, man.
Being friends with Angie, it's like on a daily trip to Greece. And I'm hoping that after this trip, I never have to hear about Greece, anything ever again. I'm Greeked out. So.
And to Santorini they arrive. What's in order? Well, according to Heather, Greek cigarettes, tattoos, and Greek men's numbers in their phones. That's the objective for the entire trip. They arrive at the Beefbar restaurant. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I noticed that Brittany left her blue teddy bear behind in her Louis Vuitton. Question, is this blue teddy bear about to become the equivalent of the unicorn on the super yacht? I hope not. Well, the food, oh my gosh, it looked absolutely delicious. Yamas, they toast, and off we go to the races. Then Heather points out to Lisa that she bought a Cartier watch. And no, she didn't. Heather tells us she got a BOGO at Cartier. Is this real? Is it really buy one, get one? I don't know. I need to look into this, because if so, I'm going to start frequenting duty-free high-end places at airports. She tells us that she was able to get 2 Cartier watches for the price of what one would cost. It was essentially buy one, get one free. So she bought one for Whitney too. And she just thought it was really funny. And she kind of just did it to get under Lisa's skin. She wants Lisa to know that she's not the only person who could buy nice things. But Lisa thinks everybody is copying her. So essentially, this is all about Lisa being angry because is she the only one who can afford or should have a Cartier watch? I'm confused. It becomes a big old thing, and they do the whole I am rubber, you are glue bullshit schoolyard exchange. Take a listen to the exchange and tell me, are you Team Angie or Team Lisa, or are they both just full of it?
First, I never saw it. My Porsche first. I had my
Porsche forever.
I've had 5 of them.
I'm on 4.
Well, I'm one up on you there.
It's not a competition, and mine's a 2025. And I got the first color of this color in this state. Angie is such a jealous, competitive person. It's unhealthy. Like, she's going to take years off her life if she keeps this going.
Are these two really so different after all? I don't think so. Andronis Arcadia is the name of the resort, and when I tell you this place is absolutely gorgeous, I did a little bit of research, didn't want to spend too much time getting numbers and things like that, but oh my gosh, this is definitely on the short list of destinations for my trip to Santorini because it is centrally located, it's beautiful to look at, and it looks like they receive really good service. Anyway, the girls all awake in the gorgeous resort in Santorini, and of course, Lisa is focused on getting her makeup done. She tells the gal that's doing her glam that she has glam everywhere. After all, she says, why waste a day being ugly? I don't know, you guys. For me, this really points to Lisa's insecurities as a human being. You are at this gorgeous, gorgeous destination. It is a place many people aspire to visit, and the girls are, you'll see later, viscerally affected by its beauty. And this girl's hung up on making sure she doesn't waste a day being ugly. Do you really think you're ugly if you don't have makeup on? That says a lot. Okay, Dr. Virg is moving on. Swimsuits and cover-ups are in order for the first outing with Nikos, the driver. Off to the beach they go. It looks a little chilly and a little windy at the beach, if you ask me. But as they're sitting there, Mary tells Angie that putting the bucket hat on threw her whole entire outfit off. And Angie takes it off, and then Mary turns to Bronwyn and asks her to take off her hat so she could see what kind of face shape she has. She tells her, you have a bucket face shape. She tells Heather that she has one too. But don't fear, because according to Mary, this makes you both brainiacs, ladies. Bucket-shaped face people are really smart. They are really intelligent and take in a lot of information. So, who knew? And alas, it is time for Face Shapes by Mary.
There's oblong face, there's pie face, there's square-shaped face. Those are the dingbats. Like, if you have a square face, just know you're a dingbat.
So 2 things on that front. Number 1, I apologize to all you square-faced dingbats out there. And number 2, did you catch the shady producers panning in on Brittany for a close-up of her face as Mary described square-shaped faces? Just saying. Off to more of the wonderful food they go. They start talking about Greece and men, and before long, Angie asks Bronwyn if she plans on getting a Greek man's number while she's here too. Bronwyn is reminded by Angie that she had thrown out the possibility of looking into an open marriage. Bronwyn says, Todd and I are not in an open marriage. He's happy, and that's fine. Again, I ask you to take a look at how her body language changed. I said this in the last episode about Kyle. And by the way, the poll that I put up, everybody agrees with me. I think we had all but one person say that they thought Kyle was lying when she said that she no longer talks to PK. In the last episode of Beverly Hills. I digress, but I do so on purpose because I want to point out that this chick, her body language changed too, and I'm no expert, but I think she's lying. So if I have time, I will post a clip of this on Instagram and we'll get your opinion on this one too. Things start to get a little heated when Heather points out that Bronwyn has not been wearing her wedding ring. And Bronwyn listens to the girls go back and forth. And then she tells the girl that 2 + 2 has been equaling 5. And they were the ones doing the wrong math. This begs the question, what the hell happened to the friendship amendments from last week? I thought families and husbands and kids were off limits. I don't know. Mary tells Bronwyn she's sending signals of trouble, but then she's not wanting to talk about it. And believe it or not, it's Meredith who steps in to save Bronwyn, telling her, I've been in your shoes, and also warning her that from Meredith's experience, this is not the end of it with this group. The ladies all end up heading back to the beach with from the beach with an hour to spare before shopping and dinner at 6:45, which according to Heather and Whitney means there's not enough time to get water and take a shower. I'm not sure what that means, but it's weird. Before dinner, Heather chats with Mary about what's going on with Meredith. Mary says Heather needs to speak with her directly, and I agree. Heather has been walking around the entirety of this trip upset and annoyed with Meredith, and everybody knows it except for Meredith. And I feel that Mary is correct. She says she was raised to be direct. And in confessionals, she essentially says she doesn't care about other people's feelings, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, Mary is correct. Heather needs to deal with Meredith directly on this. Will it get resolved? Who knows? Probably not. But the girls do all head off to dinner. Of course, Lisa, she's still in Glam. And so she's going to be joining them a little later. But do you agree with Angie? Do you think that Lisa is more concerned about how she looks on the outside versus what is going on the inside and what type of person she is? She's missing all of this beautiful experience just to look great. And I could not help but notice when she later showed up, she was commenting about how much she loved the eyelashes that the gal that was doing her glam was using. She shows up wearing sunglasses, and then when she takes them off at dinner, she's not wearing eyelashes at all. So I'm entirely and completely confused why she showed up 3 hours late, but that's just me. Can somebody tell me what you think Angie is implying when she says that? She says Lisa was 3 hours late and arrives wearing sunglasses. I just think that's odd. What does that mean? What is she implying? All I know is it doesn't seem like the glam turned out too well, because you don't spend all of that time in glam and then show up in sunglasses. Is Meredith off base to buy Heather a peace offering? She bought her that little evil eye necklace when they were out shopping, telling Bronwyn that she thought it would be nice to buy that for her as a peace offering to show her that she's trying to move forward. Well, Heather's kind of taken aback. She puts on the necklace right away and she says, I do want to move forward, but I think we need to talk about this. Well, Meredith tells her she had no plans to discuss it in a group setting. Of course, they talk about it regardless because this is the show. Heather tells Meredith that she's upset that Meredith called her a liar. Being an attorney, the first thing Meredith does is say, I didn't call you a liar. Heather says, well, you kind of implied I was lying. Then, of course, as if on cue, Lisa steps in to defend Meredith. And on and on and on they go until Whitney steps in and tells Lisa to let Meredith speak for herself, which I kind of loved. Meredith doesn't say much, but Heather tells Meredith that she is selective about what she has outrage towards. Meredith simply says, I don't agree with you. So Heather gets really emotional. She feels dismissed, but I tell you what, guys, this one's not going to get resolved tonight. Lisa tells Heather that Heather does hurtful things to her, and then she breaks down in tears. Heather almost breaks down in tears and apologizes, and then they pan across the table, and Whitney's in tears too. Whitney says everybody at the table is fighting because of the way Meredith treated Brittany on the plane and the fact that she can't just admit that she effed up. Whitney tells Meredith to look at the table. It's all so messed up, she says. She tells her, clearly you messed up and we are all paying the price for it. Listen to Meredith's response.
Whitney has been this pot stirrer in this group since day one. She is the cause of every problem. She projects everything she does onto everybody else over and over again. And we let it go and give her a free pass because she's always on some kind of healing journey.
Because she's always on some kind of a healing journey. Once confronted, Meredith essentially says, gaslight, gaslight. Everyone at this table has done so much worse, and then gets up and walks off. So of course, Heather gets even more upset, and she says it makes her realize where she falls in the rank of importance. And I'm sure that that is the case. Like, how would you feel? We've all felt at one point or another when you really want someone to have your back and they just can't see things your way, this sense of abandonment. And I'm sure that that's exactly how Heather is feeling in this moment. But just like I said a few minutes ago, this one was not going to be resolved on this evening. And so that's how the show ends for the week. Alrighty, guys. I don't know about you, but I thought it was a pretty decent episode. I always love the cast trip episodes just because I love seeing all of these destinations. And Santorini, like I said earlier, is definitely on my list. So how gorgeous was that sunset? I'm excited to see next week's episode. I'll be here to tell you all about it. Before we get done for the day, I am going to give you guys a little bit of Bravo stuff to chew on while you wait for the next podcast to come out. Okay, let's start with the obvious. Jen Shah is officially a free woman. Yes, sir, you heard it. Today is December 10th, and this morning, just as scheduled, Jen Shah was released from prison and is now back in what the peeps refer to as Gen Pop. Let's see what she does with this second go around. I have absolutely no desire to see her on my screen, and if you feel differently, DM me, but I expect to see and hear crickets from all of you, because I think most people are of the mindset that 333 days in prison is not enough for what she did. Just my opinion. One sobering note from the reality TV world over the last week. Below Deck cast member Fraser Olander recently suffered a heart attack as a result of vaping. Apparently, he had a vaping-induced lung injury and it caused him to have a heart attack. So now he is speaking out from the rooftop, shouting it loud to everyone who will listen, don't vape. We knew that it was not better than cigarettes. We just didn't know what was going to happen. And little by little, we're starting to see the effects. Popcorn lung, now heart attacks. So if you guys are vaping, please don't vape. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show started, and Rachel Zoe seems to be the runaway hit of the season on Beverly Hills so far. And my favorite thing to report this week, the Los Angeles Chargers upset the Philadelphia Eagles in overtime on Monday Night Football. Go Chargers! Honestly, it was an incredible game, maybe one of the best Monday Night Football games I've seen all season. But in reflecting about that statement, I realized there have been some really good Monday Night Football games on this season. So let's see where my Chargers go for the rest of the season. I'm very excited about how they're looking. The End of an Era, a 6-episode docuseries documenting Taylor Swift's record-breaking The Eras Tour, is offering a behind-the-scenes look at the tour's creation, execution, and emotional journey. So the docuseries is supposed to premiere on Disney Plus this Friday, December 12th. And I guess we're going to be getting 2 episodes dropping on Friday. And then over the next 2 weeks, we're going to get another 2 episodes released each Friday. And this ends on December 26th, right after Christmas. Will you be watching? If I'm being honest, I've had enough of the Eras tour in 2024. And quite frankly, I don't know about you, but I'm suffering from Taylor fatigue a little bit. So I think I'll listen to your feedback on this one and let me know if you think I should take my time to watch it. Let's move on to the new Vanderpump Rules. Apparently, you guys, it's struggling in the ratings. Will it survive? Was this a Hail Mary on the part of Bravo and Lisa Vanderpump to try to save Sir? From the looks of Natalie and Guillermo, which are the other owners, they seem incredibly distraught, which indicates trouble in restaurant land. Lisa flat out tells us that I think 6 restaurants in the neighborhood had closed down in the recent past. So they go on to explain that since COVID, WeHo, that used to be the jumping destination, aka West Hollywood, for all things nightlife and restaurants and clubbing, it just never bounced back. And the fact that Guillermo's constantly there and that they're giving such a hard push, to me indicates problems, especially with them being so concerned with, the sifting off the top of the alcohol, and they're concerned about food costs and alcohol costs and all of those things. And I don't blame them. But to me, I was watching it and it seemed to me like somebody went back and said, let's watch season 1 and try to recreate it. Let's, give the sauce a little stir, heat it up, throw in some fresh onions and see if it sticks. Did you guys notice that? It seemed, from the opening to the camera work to the antics in the back room, it seemed like they were trying to recapture early seasons of Vanderpump. And I hope it works because, it gives us something to talk about. And I would love for these kids to be able to launch into success. I think that there's a lot of talent in this group. I personally heard Natalie sing at Pride, and I'll post that as we get a little bit closer to them actually releasing that episode. But the girl does have a nice voice. She has talent. So maybe this will just be their vehicle to success, or maybe the show will take off and go another 11 seasons. What do you think? I don't think so. That's just my opinion. Although I will say, and I do want to go on record, I said it last time and I'm going to say it again, I love Natalie Maguire. I love her. I know she's a little messy and all of those things, but I find her very real. And that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I met her. She was really cool. The girl that I met is the girl that I saw on TV and is also the girl that I've been hearing doing the podcast circuit. So again, Natalie, if you want to come on Living on the Verge, the invitation is open and ready for you. I'm going to keep watching Vanderpump, but I don't know if we're going to be able to recreate the formula that led to 11 seasons. We'll just have to wait and see. So to end things off today, I thought, you know what? I loved the fact that these people were greeted with that beautiful sangria, meaning the girls from Salt Lake City. When they got to the first place that they went to, they were greeted with beautiful looking glasses of sangria. So I thought I would share with you my On the Verge Greek sangria recipe. It's pretty simple. It's just Greek wine if you can find it. Of course, you can use non-Greek wine. It just won't be considered Greek sangria. LOL. Anyway, it uses ouzo and mestaca brandy, sweetened with honey, and we infuse it with some citrus and some berries. I'll post it in the show notes, the recipe, but let me just go over it real quickly here because it's pretty simple. You need a 750 milliliter bottle of any dry Greek red or white wine. Of course, like I said, if you don't have Greek, you can use any wine. A quarter cup of ouzo, a 1/4 cup of Greek brandy, or any brandy if you can't find Greek brandy. And then you're going to take a 1/4 cup of honey syrup, which is essentially just honey and equal parts of water. We want 1 orange thinly sliced, 1 lemon thinly sliced, a 1/2 cup of berries. I like strawberries and blueberries. You could use whatever kind of berries you want. And then, of course, we need about a cup of club soda chilled, sometimes a little more. And, of course, your ice. How do you make this? Well, it's a pitcher, of course. So we're going to use a large pitcher. We're going to combine the wine, the ouzo, the brandy, and the honey syrup. Then add your sliced oranges and lemons and your berries. And then just stir it, cover it, and let it refrigerate. Really, overnight is best, but minimum a couple of hours so that the citrus and the fruit can all infuse into the delicious alcohol. And then just before serving, you're going to fill your glasses with ice, pour the sangria over the top, and then finish off with a splash of club soda if you want, or just serve it that way. I like it to be a little bubbly, so I always throw a little spritz of club soda, and then you could garnish it with fruit slices or fresh mint. It's just refreshing. And though we are in the throes of winter, it is 84 degrees in sunny Southern California today. So no shame in my game having a glass of sangria while I watch The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City in Greece. There you go, guys. That's it for the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back to talk about The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And of course, I'm going to try to watch the after show so that we can include that in the recap. But no promises, because like you, I am busy prepping for Christmas and deciding whether or not we are going to have an official tamale party this year, or if I'm just going to bite the bullet and go hard and make them by myself, with my husband's help, of course. So I'll be reporting back on that decision as well. In the meantime, I hope you're having a fabulous week. I love you guys. I'll be here living on the verge. Bye.